Hey guys, this is Travis Touchdown on YouTube, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book called Transmetropolittan. This was written by Warren Ellis and penciled by Derek Robertson. The story is pretty much about this renegade guy in the future who's a reporter named Spider Jerusalem. He's pretty much an embodiment of Hunter S. Thompson, who was a gonzo writer. And what gonzo is it's a type of journalism where you kind of write yourself in it. It's kind of like a first-person style of journalism. So Spider Jerusalem is kind of like Hunter S. Thompson if Hunter S. Thompson was a really big bastard and a jerk. But Spider Jerusalem is really freaking funny. He is hilarious. I love this series so far. This is a review of just the first book, but this was hilarious. This was really smartly written. This is the best thing I've read by Warren Ellis so far. And so, pretty much, the first issue is about Spider Jerusalem. In the past, he had this contract with this book company, so he has to write, I believe, one more book. It might be 2 or 3, though. And so he has to come back down to the city, which he hates. He hates everything about the city. He hates everyone, everything, just hates it. So he has to go back to this city and pretty much just write 2 more books. And he starts out with the beard and really long hair, and he looks pretty much like a hobo. And when he comes back, first he blows up the bar from where he used to stay and hang out, and I thought that was pretty funny. And then when he comes back, he first has to go get another job, so he goes and gets a job at this old newspaper company, and so they just say, write whatever, and we'll look over it and publish it. That's pretty much all that's in the first issue. The second issue I think is a lot better. The second issue is pretty much, he goes into this city called the Transient City, and what transients are they're pretty much people who use plastic surgery so that they can look like aliens, and so he pretty much just goes there and starts interviewing them, and they're all angry at everyone. They hate the humans hate them, and he talks to one of his old friends who is now a transient, and they get in like this fight, not a fist fight, but just fight of the words, and then Spider says if you don't make a change, then the regular humans are just going to come in and do a riot and kill everyone. And in the third issue, that's pretty much exactly what happens. And the third issue is one of my favorites. It's probably the best written of the first volume of Transmetropolittan. It's where this huge riot starts in the transient city, which is called Angels 8. And all of these human people in riot gear just come in and beat the shit out of all the transients. So Spider Jerusalem, he goes on top of this building with his laptop and just looks down at the city and just writes all of this hatred and all of his self-loathing and everything. It's really, really well written. I really love this issue. And I would even say this issue alone is reason enough to buy the book. It is really, really well written. But it's also really funny. Like, he's up there with these 2 strippers, and the strippers are just like watching him do his work, and they keep calling him fuckhead. And I think it's funny how they do it, because it's just kind of funny. I don't know. You'll have to read it. It's a really, really good issue, though. Then the series, that's pretty much the end of the Angels 8 incident, but then the series starts to kind of changes a little bit. I can't really remember the issue after that. Another issue that really stood out to me was the issue where Spider he decides to get back in touch with society a little bit by sitting on the couch all day and watching TV. And damn, that is the funniest issue in the book. That is hilarious. he just pretty much he just watches this stuff, and it's hilarious. He just like he's making fun of it, and then he starts calling into these talk shows and just like bashing them. And it's kind of funny because there's this long-running joke about how his manager won't let him use a phone because one time he was alone with a phone and like 10 people died, and I just thought that was funny because then all of these talk show hosts commit suicide because he's pissing them off so much. And there's this hilarious commercial in that issue for shoes called Jesus shoes, which let you walk on water. They're really, really funny. And so he buys some, and he's like, deliver them to my house or I'll fucking gut you like a fish. And I don't know. That's a really funny issue. And then the last issue in the book I wasn't too crazy about. It was pretty much like it was a religious convention thing, kind of like Comic-Con, but religion. Now, this one I didn't really like because it just felt like there wasn't very much substance there. But what was really funny about that one was the cover. The cover is just all of these weird whack jobs, and one of the guys is holding up a sign that says, "The end is still nigh." And if you read much of Vertigo print, most of the titles have at least one guy holding up a sign that says the end is nigh, and this one just says the end is still nigh. That made me laugh. It was really funny, and so this was really good. Warren Ellis is a great writer, and this is by far the best thing that I think he's done. This was a great first issue, and I would love to review the rest of the series. And then Derek Robertson as the penciler, he was really, really good too. I've read some of his boys stuff, and I like his artwork a lot more in Transmetropolitan. And the boys, their faces just look a little too bulky. In Transmetropolitan, it's not really great artwork, but it's pretty standard, a little bit on the cartoonier side. I liked his artwork a lot, though. It was really good, and it kind of brought a good feel to it. It's kind of like a Blade Runner-esque story, but if Blade Runner was a lot funnier. I don't know, you'd have to read it. It's a really good book. I would highly suggest Transmetropolitan Volume 1, Back on the Street. Check it out.